Spam. Copiar. Título de audio. Y... Buenas. Un segundo. Estoy. ¿Verdad? Yo sinceramente estoy ya... En plan... Es como el disgusto de... Jo, yo esperaba que era... Pensaba que era otra cosa. Y... Claro. Exacto. Sí. Además, ya había decidido que iba a hacer la especialidad, así que literalmente me viene hasta bien. Eso por ahí. Buenas. ¿Qué es esto? Potencia... Sí. Potencia de Phineas. Esto está gracioso. El control... Sí. A ver.
Captain, as it appears we may soon be embarking for a maximum security prison planet, I believe the crew would like to speak with you to, as you humans put it,
Sí.
air some concerns.
Well, folks, I ain't exactly keen on busting into a prison, but riddling bored stooges with bullets does sound like a ride and a half.
I never got to know Doc Wells. We ain't friends or crew. But he's still one of us. He's the reason the boss is up and walking right now. We can't just leave him to die in Tartarus.
To extract the scientist, you will need to infiltrate the labyrinth. But that course of action is likely to be quite dangerous, Captain.
Captain, come on. Even I've heard of the biggest prison the colony's ever seen, and on some occasions I literally live under rocks.
But since no one ever makes it out, this is all just speculation.
The armed surveillance protocols on a maximum security prison planet are highly sophisticated. As such, escapes are historically quite impossible and deadly. I am programmed to warn you whenever you exhibit inclinations toward risky behavior. Breaking into Tartarus will not be easy.
Getting in is the simple part. It's getting out again that's the trouble. Trust me, I know.
Let's just do it. Kick down some doors, grab Doc Wells, and cut a path out. We don't need a plan. We got guns.
If you really mean to do this, you should see to your final affairs and close out any unfinished business. Once you sneak into Tartarus, you may be there a while. Or permanently.
It's the craziest plan I've ever heard. And I mean that as a compliment.
You didn't hire me to think. And I ain't about to start now. You're my boss. And I'll walk into fire with you.
I think it's insane. But maybe the colony needs a healthy dose of insanity right about now.
I know it's dangerous. And I won't lie and say I'm not scared out of my wits. But I couldn't live with myself if we didn't do something.
You're asking for more than bravery from us, Captain. But there are worse ways to go than dying for a good cause. I'm in.
Let Sam get the grime out. It's what our units do best.
The entire plan is a terrible idea, but I admire your bravado, Captain, which leads me to illogically believe, against the odds, that you will be successful.
If we don't make it, at least it'll be a great story.
Got my trusty tossball stick. Got my ass-kicking boots. I'm ready, boss.
Cine.
You can count on us, Captain. We're crew. For real crew. That means we got each other's backs. Right?
Never thought I'd volunteer to break into a prison. Seems like your tendency towards risky behavior is rubbing off on me, Captain.
Command not recognized.
Waiting on your command, Captain.
Y seguiremos matando a todo el que haya por medio. A la fuerza, sí. ¿Qué ocurre? Literalmente. No, no, tranquilos que en ningún momento el juego, si os va a cambiar algo que ya no podéis volver atrás, os lo va a decir. Así que no os preocupéis. Sí. Te lo decimos por experiencia. No. Técnicamente puedes conseguir una arma legendaria en el acto 1. No. Hay una única posibilidad de que lo consigas. Robar. Claro. Creo que también se puede hacer con el comando, pero es más difícil. Vale. Y si la consigues, pues puedes hacer un personaje que está bastante roto. Esa arma ya te la llevas hasta el final del juego, o sea que es... Sí. 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 Sí, varias veces. Pero es estadística. Si el azotamiento es justo golpea bien, literalmente te lo fundes. El problema es como empieza a fallar, tú ya tienes que decir, bueno, hasta aquí hemos llegado. Nosotros llegamos a pasarlo en plan, matar al conseguir que maten al pibe, aparte de darnos la espada, y que a su vez también mataran a las azotamentes. Que también te da experiencia. Bueno. ¡Vamos al tártaro! Decir que el destino de la congregación. Si guardas la partida tras cruzar este punto, solo podrás terminar la historia principal del tártaro. Las misiones secundarias y el contenido descargable no estará disponible para las partidas guardadas después de este momento. Vale. Uy. Guardar partida. Vale. Vamos al final del juego y ya veré si me apetece o no. Un nuevo archivo.
I am pleased to inform you that we have arrived at the labyrinth. Please be advised that the punishment for trespassing is execution. Please be advised that electrical storms on the surface of Tartarus make departure impossible at this time. Resident count is as follows: 3,071. Resident deaths, including but not limited to executions, are as follows: 1,684.
De momento.
Resident escapes are as follows: 0. The interior can be chilly. Take a scarf with you, Captain. I would also ask that you leave your captain's ID with me, in the event that you do not return.
Aquí suscripción de capitán, por si se da el supuesto de que no vuelva.
Understood. If you die or are incarcerated for life, I can generate a new ID for the next captain. Oh.
Attention. Unauthorized space. I wager it'll take a bit longer than it takes. All right. I'm feeling generous. I'm transmitting the ID of a productive, law-abiding employee, so you can see what... Anyway, Tartar Stalking Authority... Wait.
Transmission terminated. Biometric ID received. Transferring data to external cartridge. How can I be of assistance?
What was that? The board will never own Groundbreaker. Not while I breathe. Push on, Mardat.
Easy.
Perhaps we should all meditate on that as we make
Correr.
They say nobody's ever broken.
Le quita, con persuasión le quito las credenciales al que me estaba hablando y me metió corriendo y he echado para adelante en línea recta. Literal. ¿Qué es lo peor que podría pasar? ¿Morir?
Lead the way, boss. I got your back.
Ajá. Sellada. Esto huele a vos. Pero yo no tenía... Ciencia de 100. Reduce aún más el coste hasta un 90%. No puedo mejorar esto. Es un Cristo. ¿Eh? ¿El qué? Lo tengo creo que al 80 y al 90. Intimidación tengo 86 con bufos, ¿vale? 86 con intimidación, 95 mentira y 142 en persuasión. Y 129 en ciencia. Y científico. Me voy a pillar todas las celdas de energía porque es literalmente la única munición que utilizan mis armas. Sí. Vamos... ¿Qué?
Sure.
Acabo de escuchar un grito agonizante y he dicho, ¿qué pasa? ¿Qué pasa? Sí. Entonces, reparar. Pues puedo hacer una cosa que es... No, tú... Puedo vender la basura. Puedo pillar todo esto. Bueno, espera, a lo mejor tengo... Piezas de arma para mí. Armadura. Estar...
I'm going.
Bueno. Vale. Bueno. ¡Alfonso!
All right, MSI. I'm not one for rousing speeches, but the captain needs our help. So get in there and fight!
You new here? I didn't think we were hired. Much.
Well, look who it is.
¡Ey! ¿Qué tal?
I'll be damned. I was prepping the studio for our announcement, and here you are as a bonus. And I see
Sí.
you brought the kid along.
Y que nadie más lo va a escuchar.
Expensive, but they're worth it, you know.
Yeah, keep talking, pal. I'll just keep
And the
Sí.
convicts. The vicar. You know. Oh, I would go anywhere to see you fall, sir. When you go off and get yourself
Buenas.
shot, try to avoid ticking them to the face. I'll want it recognizable to show to my citizens. Haven't you heard? It took some doing.
¡Os están matando! ¡Cuidado! Voy a avisar al jefe. ¡Hasta luego! Soy traidor. ¿Qué esperabas? Que la decencia.
Captain, you have an uncanny... You've been working with Dr. Wells from the beginning. When we moved to arrest him, he was prepared. I lost good soldiers in the attempt. You've disrupted the balance of power. You've upset the natural order of things. You've introduced uncertainty, and there is nothing I despise more than uncertainty.
¿Cuál? Has ido a hacer la pregunta más difícil que se me te ha podido ocurrir, ¿eh?
I'm afraid I'm aware of your diplomatic... Our partnership is behind us. You had your chance to work with me, Doc. Oh. Fair enough.
Vale. Necesito 150. Vale. Espera, si necesito 150. Vale, espera. Talentos. ¿Tengo algún menos? No. No, 142. Si me tomara... ¿qué tenía por ahí? Tributos corporales, no. Tributos mentales. Si me tomo esto... 145. Pero me está dando un buffo, ¿verdad? Madre. ¿Cómo consigo 150 de persuasión?
All right, MSI. I'm not one.
Oh, no.
Yes. It's Pete. If I and my people... You have? Is that what you were doing at the ministry?
El cambio.
Look, I'm not an unreasonable...
He tirado por mentira.
If you manage to... Are you out of your mind? Rock,
Ya ves tú.
stick it with...
Ah. Anda. Curioso. ¿Y si le mete un tiro, qué pasa? Vale. Si no se me va el compa. Vale, vale, vale. Está duro el pibe. Vale. Ay, claro, no lo he pensado. A lo mejor tengo algún... tecnología. Tengo que mejorar esto por cojones. ¿Tengo alguno? Vale, espera. Voy a cargar la que está aquí, me imagino. Porque creo que tengo... aquí está. Creo que Félix tendrá de armadura, lo que sea. No, bueno, no. Tengo este. Le puedo meter esto. Ya te he metido, vale, tengo más 5 y más 10. $144 más... ¿Tienes algo de Félix? No, vale, o sea que me da los 10 de Félix más el bufo debería de tener, o sí. Sí, se me lo está dando Félix. Estoy en busca de los 150. La cosa es que creo que no tengo ningún... Voy a ver si tengo algún... Como por ejemplo... Esto... 147. Me voy a quedar a un pedo de conseguir los 150. Es por la tira de persuasión más que nada. Ya, pero digo, es por pasarme ya la parte final directamente. Ah.
Not while I breathe. Push on.
Sí, pero hay una tira de persuasión que es de 150 justo.
How long we'd lasted on the surface?
Entering the labyrinth's the easy
Vale.
part. Making it back out. I'm still trusting your plan on that one, Captain. I suppose
Vale, no debería tardar mucho entonces.
back out now, huh?
Fear not, Captain. I'll watch your back.
Ah, ya, es que me han pillado aquí.
I'll make my way there.
Vale, volvemos a la... estar aquí. Ah, tú fuera, tú fuera. La jugada. Eso ahí. Ahora puedo meter mierdas al traje de clérigo. Me cago en... Vale. Y yo tengo aquí... Si me pillo uno de estos... Sí, es con bebidas y todo. En plan, si me meto otra bebida extra no me sirve de nada, simplemente te mete uno de los bufos. No es como un falo que me puedo meter, me meto 50 bebidas y arraigarme. Lo que quiero comprobar es, ¿puedo hacer esto? No, vale. Vale. Quería ver si podía meterle muchos de uno a algunos, pero no. Son todos iguales. No. Es que me quedo a nada y me jodes. Bueno, pues nada, pegarme de hostias. Sí. Bueno.
All right, MSI. I'm not one for rousing speeches, but the captain needs our help. So, get in there and...
Voy a pasar de ello directamente, ya está. Es que... ¡Eh! ¿Cuánta experiencia me da cada pibe? Sí, eso no pasa nada. No, si como tal ya sé que puedo llegar hasta corriendo y ya está. Lo que estoy pensando es, puesto que tengo la intención de hacer lo que quiero hacer... ...1522, vale. ¿Cuánto año puedo subir de nivel? Si me lo indica en alguna parte. Sí, ahora recargo, sí, eso. Son más. Experiencia actual. 149.000. Hasta 160.000 tengo que matar. Sí. Supongo que hay que 150, ¿no? Habrá 150. No sé cuánto. Vale. 30. Me cago en la puta. Bueno, pues nada, vámonos. Más 900, más otros 1000. Es que son 1500. Vale, da igual. Mucho lío para llegar al fin y decir: voy a mataros. Y ya está. Ah. Claro. Sí. Vale. Buenas noches. Pero, ¿te hiciste tú la build de afinar a pistolero?
All right, MSI. I'm not one for rousing speeches, but the captain needs our help. So, get in there and fight.
Oye. Sí, si antes he llegado hasta el final sin prisa, o sea que...
inside.
Hasta luego. Simplemente lo voy a ignorar, vamos a ver qué pasa. ¡Hay enemigos! ¡Matadlos! ¡Eso! ¡Matadlos! Hasta luego.
Everything in my life has been leading up to this point. I believe I am ready for this.
All right, boss. I'm ready. Let's do this.
¿Por qué no lo hablamos? Me encanto. Sí. No, tranquilo, sí, paso de las cosas bastante rápido ahora. Persuasión 85, ciencia 85. A ver.
I'm aware of Dr. Wells' plan. Revive some brilliant scientists and engineers from the Hope and work with them to... 50 or 60 years ago, I might have agreed with you. But we've passed the point of no return.
Falta un milagro para salvar siempre. Colaboramos.
I appreciate your confidence, Captain. But so long as you're allied with Dr. Wells, I haven't given up on the program yet. You've caused some complications, but I haven't...
2285, pero 85. Joder, no me jodas.
Yes, I'm quite aware. My science...
Ahí está. No, si es porque no he tenido desbloqueado eso, porque no lo he hecho como tal. En plan, no he hecho esa misión. No te están engañando. Los científicos mienten como bellacos, no hay forma de...
That isn't true. It can't be. That You're telling we're going to...
No, el pregunta finés.
Congratulations, Captain.
Pues ya está.
I just hope you've made the right decision. The fate...
Vale. Bueno, solo he perdido ¿cuánto? ¿15-20 minutos? Ahora es cuando llego y activo el robot igualmente y yo, hija de puta. 1500 de munición. Hola. Para mí.
You don't know how glad I am to see you. You must have said something to get under Akande's skin. She's gone.
Bla, bla, bla. No.
When I revive...
Vale.
The OSI teaches that everything in the universe happens according to the grand plan. But the stranger that arrived in Halcyon was an unplanned variable. From the moment he landed in Emerald Vale, his actions altered the course of history. The events on Tartarus brought about the end of the board's authority. But the board's mistakes would haunt the colony for decades to come. The damage they left behind would require the work of a generation to repair. Dr. Phineas Wells began reviving a handful of the Hope's colonists. engineers, scientists, technicians, and intellectuals. They were among the brightest minds the Earth had ever sent out into the stars. The Hope scientists and engineers woke up in a colony descending headlong into total collapse. With no way to return to Earth, they had no choice but to band together and devote themselves to the cause of saving Halcyon. The people of Halcyon were nothing if not hardy. In the absence of the board's authority, many of the colony's settlements banded together with a single purpose in mind: survival. Life was especially hard in the years to come. Some towns dissolved by attrition and starvation, but most of them found a way to carry on. In the years to come, Halcyon was forced to reckon with its newfound freedom. The board was gone, and for better or worse, the colony was responsible for its own destiny. Sanjar's civil liberties and worker-centric policies were slow to catch on with the other corporations. But as Halcyon began its long, arduous journey toward recovery, many of Terra 2's smaller townships started adopting MSI's alternative corporate structure, and eventually became entirely self-sufficient. In the coming years, many of these townships managed to eke by, where otherwise they might have starved. Sublight Salvage adapted to the changes in Halcyon, shifting their business model to suit the times. Their claims of legitimacy were scrutinized, but ultimately unquestioned. Lilia Hagen would continue to protect her family as ruthlessly as ever. The collapse of Edgewater left its workers bereft of any purpose in life. Most of them made their way to Adelaide McDevitt's camp, hoping to ingratiate themselves into her favor. Adelaide accepted only a few to her community. The rest were turned away and likely died of starvation. Nevertheless, Adelaide's camp grew into a well-established town. Adelaide McDevitt refused to cooperate with the ongoing effort to save Halcyon from collapse. A sympathetic deserter stole a copy of her research and delivered it to the Hope's scientists. It is unclear how useful Adelaide's research was. An optimistic estimate suggests her work may have bought Halcyon another few years of survival. Adelaide would never know. She died that winter. Under the leadership of Junlei Tennyson, the groundbreaker held firm against corporate influence. The ship's mechanical stability gave Junlei the time to educate a promising generation of engineers schooled in her family's traditions. The future of the groundbreaker looks promising. The rediscovery of the Hope and the abandonment of the lifetime employment program forced Byzantium to come to terms with some uncomfortable realities about the state of Halcyon. While Byzantines were reluctant to surrender the luxuries they'd grown accustomed to, the board's diminished authority gave them little choice in the matter. Nearly everyone had to learn to make do with less. Some even had to get jobs. It was a dark time indeed. Ellie savored her adventures on the Unreliable. Once they were done, she returned to life as usual, running missions of dubious legality, shunning respectable work, and living life to the fullest. She meant to reach out to her one-time captain, but she was always bad at keeping in touch. Life in Halcyon was sobering for Felix Millstone. The grand revolution he dreamed of never came. There was no great awakening for the colony, no celebrations in the streets. There was only the hard, desperate work of trying to repair a broken colony. Felix never had a head for numbers, but if there was labor to be done, he was there to help. Eventually, Felix realized that the work of a revolution was done with two hands. As much as he enjoyed his adventures aboard the Unreliable, the vicar, known as Max, eventually decided that it was time to move on, to live out the life he had sought so long to create. He knew there were many in the colony who carried burdens much worse than the ones he had struggled with, and he devoted himself to easing their suffering wherever he could. He only ever took up arms again to defend the defenseless. Unshackled from a lifetime of striving and fighting the universe and himself, Vicar Maximilian de Soto was finally at peace. Though Parvati eventually grew comfortable aboard the Unreliable, she never quite came out of her shell. She seemed to prefer the company of Ada to the crew, and she could often be found neck-deep in cables and grease, telling Ada funny stories from her childhood. While the colony fell into chaos, she found an island of relative peace with Ada, and they formed an unusual bond. She decided to remain aboard the Unreliable permanently as its chief and sole engineer. Nyoka returned to Monarch to take another crack at making a permanent life for herself. She formed the Charon Group, an MSI subsidiary of ragtag survivalists and wilderness experts. Anyone in need of a guide, or just looking to throw back a beer and swap stories, could find her camping on the trail or clearing an infestation. The SAM unit that accompanied you spread awareness of the product line's superior sanitation and maintenance capabilities across what was left of the colony. This led to a boost in SAM unit sales. Did you know that SAM units are the longest-lasting, toughest-acting cleaning solution in Halcyon? Minister Clark was released from house arrest, and his contact with you gave him a sense of renewed purpose and vigor. Once it became clear that no help would be coming from Earth, he threw his considerable efforts and talents into helping Halcyon manage the crisis before it. It was widely suspected that Sophia Akande was the true power behind Chairman Rockwell. However, after the riots on Tartarus, she was never again seen in the colony. Various theories circulated as to her fate. Some believed she boarded an interstellar ship capable of journeying to a distant colony. Others believe she died trying to escape Tartarus. Some few suggest she fled to Monarch, where she continued to live among a small band of loyalists. There is another theory, which suggests that Sophia's encounter with you changed her, and she deliberately retreated from public view, but continued supporting the colony in secret. When Dr. Wells began reviving the Hope's colonists, he found himself with a sudden windfall of additional supplies and resources, courtesy of an anonymous donor. If Wells knew who his supplier was, he never told a soul. As for Dr. Phineas Wells, he spent his remaining years in his orbital lab. He eventually came to terms with his own past and was able to forgive the mistakes of his younger self by devoting his remaining years to serving the colony. Dr. Wells was able to revive many more scientists and engineers than he first expected, thanks to the additional batch of chemicals you stole from the Ministry. Wells never forgot about the human lives that were lost in acquiring these chemicals. In the end, Dr. Wells was able to save every scientist and engineer aboard the Hope. Over the next decade, nearly all of the Hope's remaining colonists were successfully revived. Halcyon saw a period of rapid technological and scientific advancement. Breakthroughs in dietary supplements saved the colony from starvation. Geoengineering projects and social reforms began to change the structure and character of the colony. Dr. Wells laid the groundwork for the project to save the colony, but he would never live to see the fruits.
Es una posibilidad.
He
Es una
passed away
posibilidad,
a few
simplemente.
years later. His work was carried on by the scientists and engineers he revived. Today, Halcyon has stabilized. The people of the colony work hard to adapt to their new circumstances. Nearby colonies send aid and supplies. Life will never be easy in Halcyon, but for the first time in its history, there exists a sense of real, genuine hope about the future. And what about you, the unplanned variable in the history of Halcyon? Long after Wells passed away, you carried on his work with more energy, determination, and brilliance than he could ever muster. The years that followed were hard, but Halcyon survived by the efforts of the Hope's most promising colonists, the greatest of which was you. No one knows what's happened to Earth, and no one knows what the future has in store for Halcyon. All we know for certain is this. The name of the Unreliable and that of its intrepid captain will remain the subject of countless stories for years to come.
Bueno, pues ya está. Espero que la gente tenga suficiente y nos vemos mañana quizá. O con Deus Ex o ya veré si hago algo más. Chao, chao.